Hello, everybody. It is great to be here one more time today. My name is Gary Fowler. I'm the CEO, president, and founder of GSD Get You Done Venture Studios, a premier AI and quantum venture studio located in the heart of Silicon Valley. I'm a 17-time serial entrepreneur with several unicorns under the belt. I was on the original management team of Click Software, which was sold to Salesforce for 1.35 billion, and also Eva.ai, one of the first generative AI companies that I co-founded in 2016. We believe at GSD that intellectual capacity is evenly spread around the world, but opportunities are not. Today, welcome you to Simplenight Presents, and I'm hosting that. And we have an incredible guest, and we're going to get a lot of insights into an extraordinary tool. So I'd like to introduce Solito. Solito is over 25 years with experience in New York City, leverages his managerial aptitude, business acumen, and incredible global experience to put that into software development and product development. And to be able to take those tools to be able to change the way that we look at concierge service, travel, and how we interact with generative AI. With that, I'd like to bring Solito on board. Hey, Solito, how you doing today?
Gary. It's doing well, doing well.
You know, I was just
Good to
telling,
see you again.
we were just talking about it. I said, I when I looked at your CV and it said 25 years, I said, man, how can that be? He looks like he's 25.
Oh my God. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And
Hey,
yeah, I shock a lot of people in the industry. They just look at me and it kind of works in both ways. You know, when I need to be the elder statesman in the room, I just tell them, hey, I've been in this game for a long time. They look at my resume and they go, oh my goodness, this guy's been around. He's a pre.com person,
no,
but
Solito, how did you get started? Like you were in political science, right? So you
yeah.
studied political science. How in the world did you make that switch over? Because I see you
Oh,
were in PC support, and I think there's something about DeVry University that you took some courses there. How did you make the switch?
yeah, it was really amazing. I graduated college. My first career choice was a lawyer. My father was a doctor, my mom was a nurse, and I'm from a Asian background, Philippines. So obviously there was only two roles that you could be. It's like you could either be a lawyer or a doctor. That's kind of what happened to me. But when I graduated college, I was like, okay, I don't want to be a lawyer. Now what do I do with my life? And luckily for me, I ended up in the greatest technological revolution in our era. So I already saw it. Bill Gates at that time was the richest guy in the world, and he was just dominating all the headlines. And I was just so inspired. I was thinking to myself, this is it. This is the future. I got to jump on this bandwagon. So I went and said, how can I shortcut my career into this field? Because I don't have a computer science background. Well, luckily, they had all of these schools. They had like DeVry, they had Chubb Institute. So I said, let me re-enroll back into school, and whatever it takes, I'll just learn. If I have to eat another 4 years out of my life, so be it. So I went back to school. And back then, they actually didn't have a formal software engineering courses like they do today, that you can, like today you can go to boot camps, and into these courses, but you actually had to re-enroll like another 4-year college, and I started the first thing I studied was satellite technology, which is kind of ironic because that's kind of big now. Then I studied telecommunications, infrastructure, and then I eventually forayed into like basic, HTML web development. So it was one of the greatest, you know, transitions I ever did in my life, because this is a crazy story, guy. When I was in DeVry, I started getting phone calls from all the big recruiters, and everyone told me, "Don't finish school." I said,
They
"Why?"
told you
They said,
don't
"Because
finish school?
don't finish school. We're going to hire you right now. We're going to pay you a big salary, and they will pay what you need to specifically know." They said the problem with where you're at is that you're learning a whole bunch of stuff. It's too general, but I'm going to get you a job in New York, and you're going to learn what is needed right now, what's hot, what's big. And that's kind of what I did. For the next 2 or 3 years, I took a job in New York with a law firm. Um, and they were offering these courses where you can train and do these things. And uh, I learned very quickly that the law firm wasn't a good long-term strategy. So I started getting uh, calls from .coms, and I got lucky, joined a .com, and that same thing happened there. I joined this .com that went public, and for about the next 3 or 4 years of my life, yeah, I was just, you know, working in the daytime. And then at night, I was taking all of these courses that the company was paying for, getting certified, all kinds of different, whatever I could get my hands on. And yeah, that's kind of where everything went. I was part of that whole big .com era in New York, which is a little bit different than in the West Coast. Because in the West Coast, those were all the like technological breakthroughs. But in New York, it was all about applying all that software and using it in business. So yeah, I feel like I made that was like one of the great decisions I ever made. I got very lucky. I worked for the Sullivan Cromwell law firm, which happened to be the law firm that was defending Bill Gates and Microsoft.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah, which was the biggest antitrust trial of the century. And I was asked to be part of that team. And I supported the group of lawyers that were working nonstop throughout that trial. So I got to meet all those guys. And I had the fortunate luck of actually meeting Bill Gates one time. He was in the office there in Washington, D.C. So one of the greatest, um, you know, things that I look back in my life that really helped propel me going forward, well into the future. So I rode this bandwagon, and here I am, still here.
So that's a good segue. So let's talk about how can you give us an overview of Simplenight and what inspired the creation of the platform, and what unique needs does it really address in the market?
Yeah, so Simple Night is really an amazing idea. Simple Night was founded by Mark Halberstein, the CEO, and we just so happened to be introduced in New York at the time. He had this amazing idea after a pretty good career doing concierge work in Vegas and Miami. And I crossed paths with him, and he says, "I've got this amazing idea. There's got to be a way that we can make what I do much easier. Right now it is a nightmare to have to call people and chase people down and try to patch all these itineraries together for my clients. There's got to be a way that we can build software to make this happen." And I thought it was an amazing idea. He gave me a lot of his ideas and blueprints, and then it was perfect timing because I had just sold a startup of mine, and I had all these developers that were looking for the next big project. And I said, "Guys, this is what we're going to do." And we built the first MVP, of which Mark, who's got an amazing finance background, he's in, went out and I think he raised like 7.5 million just like right off the bat. And then we just went running after that full speed. So Simple Night, for everyone out there, we are a B2B platform. We're essentially a distribution network. So we take a lot of this travel products from the back end, right? People who sell hotels and flights and tours and shows, parking, dining reservations. And we take it and distribute that to all of our demand partners on the consumer facing side. So we help sell all of these products, and we provide all of the features and functionality to make both ends happy. So we're a B2B to C.
So when you look at it, what were some of the initial challenges, when you first were launched, and how did you overcome those obstacles, and what lessons did you learn early on?
Yeah, it was really crazy back then because we were the first that were truly going to attack this multi-category idea, right? So traditionally, the GDSs were filling this role. So you had these big mainframe companies that were selling flights and hotels. And we said, you know what, we're going to cover a broader range of categories. And when we first started, because there was no playbook, we had to just debate it out ourselves, right? So we'd get all the engineers together, and we would literally spend almost a ton of time just debating even what programming language to choose, right? Then once we've kind of tackled the most basic things, we were literally just taking the best guesses at what we were doing. So that was really difficult in the beginning. But, if you have really smart guys, you kind of foresee the problems early on. You just kind of iron it out. And little by little, if you have smart guys, you eventually solve all these problems. And, the original idea of building an agnostic architecture was probably one of the biggest nirvana moments, because as we go out into the future, right, when you extrapolate that out, it ended up being one of the best strategies that we ever did. And here we are.
So how did you do this? You were there from 2014 to 2017. You left, and then you came back. So how different was it when you came back from when you left?
Yeah, there was we had some financial difficulty in that little gap there. So, Mark always promised that, hey, when the money comes back around, we're going to bring everybody back. So that's kind of what happened. When we came back the second time around, we were refunded. We were funded again. The technologies that we were doing, the strategies that we had, was actually a little bit better. Coding standards were much better. The experiences of the developers that we were hiring were much better. So coming back, it was more fun because everything was a lot more advanced than how it was in the very beginning, and we already had this mindset of, how could we attack it this time around? How much better? So the only difference was is even more bolder of an idea, right? Artificial intelligence was starting to slowly come around. So me and Mark had been knocking around this idea about how we could apply, artificial intelligence to what we're doing. So yeah, it was really great because it almost seemed like that time where nothing was happening was really good because it allowed technology to advance uh, before the next generation, the software played out.
So how what? Let's talk about what Simple Night offers for businesses and corporate clients. What really differentiates you from the corporate solutions from traditional, consumer travel and experiences platforms? How different are we?
It's different because we solve a couple of issues, right? So two of our biggest types of clients are, um, right now we're doing a lot of focus on government services. So we sell to a lot of these governments and countries, right? And it's interesting. We help a lot of these developing countries really catch up to where everything is going, right? They don't really have a lot. They didn't invest in the infrastructure at the same time that the West was. So we're out in Asia, we're out in the United Arab Emirates, and we're allowing these countries to catch up very quickly and almost master plan everything with all of the best technology, and we provide that for them. We give them the platform, and they
So what do
literally.
you mean master plan, Solito? What does a master plan mean?
So the master plan for a lot of these countries is very smart. It's like, hey, we need to jump on artificial intelligence. We need to be able to take all of this data, and we want to be able to maximize it so that we can really help grow the country, and offer people to also who are visiting to experience the country in a way that's never been done before in traditional means, right? So it's the ability to take all of this technology and provide the most robust experience for both residents and
Well,
travelers.
this is like robust experience on steroids, right? So when you have hyper personalization and you can apply that omni-channel engine to anything, it changes. The future, everything's been so, they weren't these silos were never connected together, and they weren't connected in a hyper personalized way, so an intelligent hyper personalized way, so you can actually feel the experiences. It's kind of interesting. So you go down through and you know what kind of benefits are there for businesses that want to partner with Simple Night? What are the things? How does the platform streamline the services and for other corporate needs? And it's not just about corporation; it's governments. Who are your target? It seems like it's everybody.
It's pretty much everybody, everyone who wants to solve a couple issues. Everyone has the same similar problem. They have a lot of fractured technology, a lot of disparate communications, and they're not really sure about how to optimize all of this information, all this technology, which is interesting because that's just naturally how everything's going to evolve. That's kind of like how the universe evolved, right? You have all of this disparate planets collecting and coalescing. Same thing with how countries and companies evolve. So eventually they sit there and they say, ugh, we need someone to help us kind of unite and make this all uniform. So we come in and we say, yeah, we're going to be the central hub that allows you to take all these disparate systems and get fully integrated into one cohesive system. So now when in regards to artificial intelligence, you lay that artificial intelligence layer on top with the action layer, uh, man, and now you just take everything that you have and you just cranked it up. So all this valuable information that you have, the artificial intelligence is going to make some really smart conclusions out of it. It's going to be able to summarize and connect all this information. It's going to be able to help you automate things that you just do nonstop at a much cheaper and more accurate way. Uh, and for the smaller, growing countries, it allows them to finally say, okay, we know what's the proper way of doing everything. Let's make sure that we don't waste any more time, and from here on out, let's do everything properly, and let's just make sure that Simplenight helps us, and they consult us through being able to do this all right this time around. Let's not spin our wheels. So we help them to be a lot more efficient about all the things that they're developing and all their future plans, right, for their country or the company.
I mean, the thing is, but who else does what you do? I mean, there's nobody on the planet that really. I mean, because if you take, I mean, it sounds like you're
I'm not
taking
sure.
Amazon, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Expedia and combining those kind of incredible tools into one. I mean, when you talk about a super app, it's like, that's the thing. It's like, we look at this infobesity problem that we have. It's how do you take all disparate pieces and put them together in one and make an intelligent decision that's hyper personalized for you. I mean,
Yes, absolutely.
you're flying a plane, right? So I'm going to be flying on Delta tomorrow. I wish it would know every time that I go into I like to go into the first class on the right hand side of the plane because I like to sleep there better because of my neck. And I wish it would know who would be in that environment when I land that I could possibly have dinner with and make a reservation for me. I wish it would know that I like to play tennis and that my friend that's going to be in San Francisco is going to be able to play tennis. And these new tools are going to change everything, and they got to be used. Solito, this is not just limited to travel. These engines, these horizontal engines, and now people are starting to talk about it. By the way, I heard Musk say something about horizontal engines, which we've been
Correct.
talking about for a long time, right? A year. But these horizontal engines are going to change things because when you take a Simplenight engine and take that omni-channel engine and put it into anything, it changes it because it starts optimizing everything in an intelligent way. So let's talk about it. So what do you think? What's the future look like?
Yeah, absolutely. Like if you think about all the different touch points of the different types of technology that you come across every day, that is all different types of information that has all of these preferences about you, all the things that you like. It's got a history of all the things that you've selected. Now imagine if you could unite all of those disparate pieces of information, and um, any experience that you do going forward, right? It takes it from A to B. Like when you select a music, it only knows the type of music that you have. But suppose not only does the AI understand what music you like, but like you said, it also knows what kind of sports you like. It knows the temperature of the room that you like. It also likes the coloring. It knows that you like to wake up early for breakfast. So everything about you is going to be much more deeper and broader, all the information. So we're going to be living in an age where things are just going to be so convenient for everybody because anything that you're going to be interacting with is going to know so much more about you than previously. And that's in everything that we're going to be coming across, all these different types of technologies. Um, the mobile phone that we know it is going to be so much different than in the past because it truly is going to be more of an AI device than anything, and the ability to just ask for what you want and it comes to you much faster is going to be much more instantaneous than it ever was. So I'm excited, for I'm excited for these young kids who are living in this generation because they're going to experience a an epitome of technology, and also a little scary because I don't know, it's going to make things maybe too easy for this generation kids. Who knows? We'll see. But I think for me, I was alive before the internet, and I'm just amazed at how everything has evolved. And I just hope that I can live long enough to experience space travel, because I think that's where the ultimate frontier is, right? Being able to utilize all of this intellect that we've got, and be able to finally leave this planet and see what else is out there. You know,
Well, there's 6 billion Earth-like planets just in the Milky Way galaxy. I have a friend of
yeah,
mine. It's one of the NASA astronauts, and we had this conversation. And there's estimated to be 2.7 trillion galaxies in the universe. So and we're a medium-sized galaxy, so you take 6 billion times 2.7 trillion. There are a lot of things out there. The Earth-like planet means close enough to a star that you could inhabit it. Look at this thing. So if we look at the futures, you're going to have these grandmother like experiences where it loves you and cares about you with empathy and compassion and understands the kind of things you want and need. And you see this evolution of Simple Night from a couple of years ago to where it is today. I mean, you've become that hyper personalized tool, you've become that omni channel engine. And it's just amazing what the possibilities are. It doesn't matter where you are, who you are, or what you're doing. Imagine being able to plug that kind of an engine in. You're right. We need to have those hyper personalized experiences for everything. Companies
yeah,
need them, right? To be able to get closer to their customers. Cars need them, right? The cars that get in them,
yep.
how the cars are going to change in the future. Somebody said to me, "What's it like?" I said, "Well, do you remember Knight Rider from a long, long time ago?
Yes,
It's real."
amazing show. Yeah,
Yeah, the kid, you think about was funny in the old days, but it's not so funny now because it's real, right? We're coming into that kind of thing. I can imagine that. So, what about the technology behind your platform? What makes it easy? How does it work? In terms of just from a top 60,000 viewpoint standpoint, how easy is it to use?
um, it's interesting. The system that we built is crazy complicated. It's about as complicated as you get. But the trick is that when you have an end consumer utilizing whatever interface that you've made, it's got to be so easy that they almost take for granted how complex it is in the background. And it's really amazing when we, talk to investors or other companies that we're partnering with, and then, we get into these architectural talks. They just sit there and they say, "This thing is an absolute monstrosity. How have you managed to keep it together all of these years?" And it's like, well, that's exactly what it is. We've developed it over time, little by little. We've ironed out every little problem. We've made some really smart architectural decisions that bore a lot of fruit for us for where we are now. And we're very lucky to jumped on the whole AI movement when all the technology was available to us. So generative AI has been a tremendous implementation for everything that we're doing. And going forward, we're trying to use AI in every aspect of all the development that we're doing. So I mean, it's really complicated, but it's an e-commerce system on steroids. It's an ecosystem on steroids. It's a intelligent management system on steroids. But at a logical, we're just a piece of software that unites people that are trying to sell stuff to the people who are trying to buy stuff. So, if I try to summarize it to people, that's really as simple as it gets right there.
Yeah, well, I mean, we take the complex and make it simple. And so
Yeah.
we take all those disparate pieces and make it easy. So when you look at it, it's simple for you, but the process behind it are complex. And it's just intelligently complex. So it's
Yep.
just incredible. Solito, I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us. So, what are your closing thoughts and how do people get a hold of you?
Yeah. So I think for everyone who's living in this time, just really take the time to just enjoy the world, because it's going to get better. For all the people who are scared about where things are going, I don't look at it that way. I think every new technology that has come around in history, everyone was scared of it. A lot of people were scared that it was going to take jobs, but maybe it did, but only in the short term. But it's always evolved into making us better. It always helped raise the standard of living, and new jobs were always created. So everyone just take a step back, enjoy what we have. It's only going to get better, and I'm excited for it. I mean, this is why I'm still working and plugging hard at what we're doing, and it's nice to know that I wake up every day and there's always a new challenge, because technology is one of the greatest uh, activities that you can pursue. And I'm glad to be a part of this cutting edge world. And um, it's been fun. It's been fun along the way. And if anyone needs to get in touch with me, you can just email me at Solito at Simplenight.com. And yeah, people, if you want to just talk tech, or if you're interested about how we can help solve your company or your country's problems in regards to fragmentation, yeah, we can have a lot of those discussions.
Thanks, Solito. Thanks for taking your time. To all of my audience out there, thank you for joining one more time. An incredible, incredible omni-channel engine. Imagine being able to book anything, buy anything, anywhere, anytime. That is an incredible story to tell. And
Thank you.
Simplelight's really done amazing things. So thank you for joining us again. Stay happy, stay safe, and stay healthy. And I'll be back to you again next week with another exciting edition. Take care, everybody. Take care, Solito. Tell Mark I say hello. Thank
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Gary.